The anchorite! You're as bothersome as that damn Dremora. No matter. The votive rune is placed, and now you die.
You brought this on yourself, Dagonist. Hey you, with the glowing hands. We have something in common. If you're not a cultist, we should talk. Damn these Waking Flame cultists, bringing their Mehrunes Dagon madness to Fargrave. Their votive runes infect mortals with dark magic. I came to meet someone about all this when I spotted that cultist and my hands began to glow. Just like yours. This is Fargrave, a city in Oblivion with permanent and open connections to other realms. The cultists place those votive runes faster than I can destroy them, putting every mortal who lives here at risk. That's why I agreed to meet with the Dremora. Lyrinth, the Dremora. She sent me a letter. Said the cult threatened Fargrave. Nern, too. She wanted my help, but I can't deal with that now. The votive runes are clearly the immediate danger. We should work together on this. I can pay. I need you to talk to my contacts. Madam Wim's establishment is here in the city. Initiate Teal'co meets me in the burn, out in the Deadlands. See what they know about the votive runes and the cult's plans. Then meet me in the Fargrave Crafting Plaza. Really? All I know is that she's a Dremora who has an interest in the Dagon cult known as the Order of the Waking Flame. This is where we were supposed to meet, but all I saw when I got here was that cultist and the votive rune he was casting. No. The votives mess with mortal emotions, make everything more intense. Not sure why. Lyrinth said the magic in her letter would allow her to recognize me. I think that's what the glow was. If only I could get the Grasp to care about all this. The Grasp of the Stricture. They're an order of Daedra, mostly Dremora, who serve as arbiters and interpreters of the Stricture. A magical covenant that allows Fargrave to serve as neutral ground for all Daedra. They enforce the laws, to a point. Well, since mortals aren't bound to the Stricture, the Grasp pretty much ignores us, unless we interfere with the Stricture in some way. As long as the cult and its votive runes only threaten mortals, the Grasp simply doesn't care. Madam Wim is a dark seducer who has her thumb on the pulse of Fargrave. Nothing happens here that she isn't keenly aware of. She deals in favors and information, for a price. And the more you seek her help, the more expensive her services become. Initiate Teal'co is a member of the Order of the Waking Flame. He was my friend before the cult recruited him. Turns out, Teal'co's had a change of heart. He's been providing me with inside information about where the cult plans to strike next. Madam Wim runs an establishment in Fargrave called the House of Wims. Just be careful. She enjoys getting her hooks in new arrivals. You'll find Initiate Teal'co in the Deadlands, an area known as the Burn. The Plaza of Portals will take you there. The Plaza of Portals is one of Fargrave's most important locations. A series of permanent gateways to other realms in Oblivion. One of those realms is the Deadlands, the domain of Mehrunes Dagon. Is it? I hadn't noticed. Look, we only just met. If you turn out to be trustworthy, I'll tell you the strange tale. If not, well, we'll deal with that if it becomes necessary. Perhaps. And maybe it's just a fashion statement. Now, go talk to Madam Wim and Initiate Teal'co while I make my rounds. I need to check on my charges around the city. As a crossroads, it's natural for people from everywhere to wind up here. I check on the mortals of the city on a regular basis, help them as I can. That's why Wim calls me the Fool of Fargrave, because I care. And it's why I abhor the Daganists. Then you know the cult is evil. They appeared recently, proselytizing in the plazas. Then they started placing those votive runes. Some kind of prayer to Mehrunes Dagon. But it intensifies mortal emotions. The runes are dangerous. I know it. The glow seems to have faded. For now.
There's a Dremora who sells these little pillows. No idea what they're for, but I must have one.
Why won't you all just leave me alone?
Something terrible's about to happen. I just know it.
My mounts get the best care in all Fargrave. Respect them, and we won't have a problem.
Are you an adventurer? In my experience, all adventurers could do with a larger pack. Loot and trinkets take up so much more space than you expect.
Disaster is coming! Fargrave is doomed!
There's no point. No point at all.
Ooh, I could look at these shinies all day. But I'm supposed to find a volunteer for an experiment. I don't... Snakeskin! Then you aren't the volunteer I was sent to look for. Ooh, I could look at these shinies all day. But I'm supposed to find a volunteer for an experiment. I don't suppose you have a cold, do you? Or serious allergies? Snakeskin! Then you aren't the volunteer I was sent to look for. We're trying to cure sniffles. Varus also sent me to get the chicken broth and toad eyelids he wanted. Oh, the eyelids aren't for the experiment. Varus just thinks they're tasty. Varus Dradane? No, he's only the most exceptional sorcerer in the Sarathu tongue. He's even made a cure for hair loss that works on Ograms. You should really see the next exhibition he agrees to do. They're always fun and educational. You're really new here, aren't you? They're a group of mages and dark elves who have a pact with the fearsome Quath to study magics and portals within Fargrave. Varus is pretty high up in the ranks because of his brilliance. Oh no, I'm just Varus's apprentice, but he's already taught me so much about spellcasting and magic, I know I'll be great with a bit more study.
Just stepped on me. Oh, the nerves of creatures.
Tears rip.
Magic is like...
Seems.
Good. not the person I was supposed to meet. What do you want? Explain yourself, stranger. The Deadlands isn't a place for chance encounters. The Anchorite promises to get me away from the cult in exchange for information. I hold up my end of the bargain, and what do I get? Another fool, seeking knowledge from Portilgo. This is the last time, you hear? Make sure the Anchorite knows that. They don't tell lowly initiates all the details of their master plan. But I hear things. Sister Seldina wants to take over Fargrave. Make it an offering to Mehrunes Dagon. The votive runes play a part in that, but I don't know exactly how. Sister Seldina leads the Fargrave cell. She has a grand vision for the waking flame. It starts with Fargrave, but it doesn't end there. She wants control of the portals. With them, she can hand Lord Dagon all of Oblivion. Even Nirn would be in reach. The Dremora? She's practically all the Order's old guard talk about these days. Seems she's been causing a lot of trouble for Sister Seldina, interfering with her plans. Something's about to happen. Tell the Anchorite. Fargrave's in danger. The Order has camps throughout Fargrave and the Deadlands. Sister Seldina could be anywhere. But tell the Anchorite to check the shambles. Look for an abandoned building, someplace hot. I heard one of the Devastators complaining about the heat. If we were talking about the Deadlands, no. But the Shambles is a different story. That section of Fargrave can't have too many places hot enough to make a Devastator uncomfortable. The Anchorite will figure it out. What? You assume every Dagonist is a true believer, willing to do whatever their superiors tell them? I joined up because they promised me a better life. A way to escape the Shambles. But they lied. The Anchorite agreed to help me, for a price. If Sister Seldina knew I was talking to you or the Anchorite, my life wouldn't be worth a scab on an Ogrim's elbow. I want out! Look, tell the Anchorite. She can find me at the Bearer's Rest in Fargrave when she's really ready to help an old friend. Tell the Anchorite I'll be at the Bearer's Rest. She owes me, and I expect her to honor our agreement.
Another poor mortal succumbed to the power of the Dagonic votives. How unfortunate. But what's this? A new face? And what does Madam Whim always say? New faces bring new opportunities. Let's talk. Has anyone ever told you that you have an incomparable mien? Most in this celestial palanquin we call Fargrave have the barest patina on their auras. But you, I know multiple buyers who would pay top price for a soul like yours. Shall we trade? What? Poor Josette? She's one of my favorite regulars. At least she was, before the votives affected her. First, she became belligerent, then extremely melancholy. Now she's practically mindless. But tell me, darling, what brings you to Madam Whim's? She did she? All true, but I hate to brag. She's an unusual mortal, though, isn't she? Our darling of the alleys. And clever. She sent you so as not to increase her tab at the House of Whims. As a new customer, your first transaction is free. Ah, two topics on the lips of many a Fargravian. The Dagonists are mortal rabble with a fetish for destruction. The votive runes are prayers to their prince made manifest. Spells that seem to affect only mortals, like poor Josette here. An interesting question. Alas, I have no answer. But you're not the only newcomer to our fair city seeking such knowledge. My eyes about town tell me that Lyranth the Dremora has come to Fargrave. She's in the shambles, searching for Sister Seldina. You want more? I'm giving away an awful lot as part of your free sample, but I am feeling generous today. Sister Seldina leads the Dagonists here in Fargrave. She and Lyranth seem to have it out for one another, though I have yet to ascertain why. As the name implies, I trade in eccentricities and capriciousness. I buy and sell as impulse dictates. My establishment carries indulgences from across Oblivion. And information, of course, along with food, drinks, and an amenity for every appetite. Oh, the mortal on the floor? No, I don't believe so. The spell is quite potent. I suspect the votive runes have a darker purpose than simply elevating emotions and turning mortals into mindless husks. Pity the grasp refuses to investigate. The grasp of the stricture. They enforce law and order in Fargrave. The stricture is a covenant that binds all Daedra and allows us to operate somewhat in concert. Since mortals aren't bound by the covenant, the grasp tends to pay them no mind. An apt description, if somewhat inaccurate. They do enforce Fargrave's laws, but in ways that won't always be comprehensible to the limits of mortal understanding. Try not to commit any crimes in front of them, and they won't harass you. Probably. A terrible place. I urge caution if you decide to venture there. It's a warren of alleys, tenements, and ruins, hidden behind thick walls. Many mortals live there in the most appalling conditions, but it can also be a good place to conduct business. Oh, innocent mortal. The kind of business best engaged in, where the grasp of the stricture doesn't reach. It's a perfect location to hide a Dagonist cult, seeking to cause chaos and mayhem. I'm surprised our darling of the alleys didn't mention that. Darling of the alleys, fool of Fargrave, woman in the mask. Ever since the anchorite arrived in Fargrave, she's gone out of her way to help the mortals cast upon our shore, and she asks for nothing in return. Pity I know so little else about her. Oh, the mortal on the floor? No, I don't believe so. The grasp of the stricture.
It's rather rude of you to interrupt someone who is clearly quite busy.
Disaster is coming! Fargrave is doomed!
There's no point. No point at all.
to me was a good decision on your part. You look like you could use some enchantments.
My tutors like to tell me that words and stories are a form of magic. If you put them together properly, you can weave entire worlds.
Greetings, newcomer. Mortals, selling to you is like exchanging goods with an infant. It's insulting and irresponsible. I've been informed that I cannot refuse you access to my goods, though. Take a look and be out of my sight quickly. Ah, yes.
You've done it.
Each life you take wrongly cuts away a bit of your soul. Keep on like that, and there will be nothing left.
Bother me with questions, and I may just risk disgrace.
He spawns upon us with glee. Spare all from hardship and grand cause.
No new recipes, I'm afraid. The Grasp won't let me sell my creations until I can prove they won't kill anyone. Plenty of traditional foods available, though.
Over here, friend.
Lord Dagon will visit disaster upon this ash heap. Mark my words.
These new Dagonists are barely worth the effort. I followed them into the plaza and destroyed the votive rune before they even noticed I was there. And the Grasp decided to get involved, finally. Hey, did you learn anything from my contacts? Madam Wim didn't charge you, I hope. She usually lets you sample her wares for free the first time. After that, it gets expensive. The Shambles is a big place, but now we know more than we did when we started. Did you also make contact with Teal'co? Hot? In the Shambles? Must be the old baths. The furnaces beneath the bathhouse have been burning forever. But what was that about the votive runes? How does Sister Seldina plan to use them to conquer Fargrave? Damn it! No one is going to conquer Fargrave if I have any say in the matter. I suppose we need to investigate the old bathhouse. If we find Sister Seldina, maybe we'll find Lyrinth too. Let's meet in the Shambles. We can discuss our options there. Once we enter the Shambles, we can work our way together to the old bathhouse. The Shambles can be a dangerous place, but it's also where the majority of Fargrave's mortals live. Warrens and dark alleys fill the area. There are 3 main paths through the Shambles. We can take any of them to reach the bathhouse. And I said I'd tell you, once I was sure I could trust you. Let's find out what's waiting for us at the bathhouse. Try to make contact with Lyrinth for Dremora. After that, we'll see. Just that it's mostly abandoned. Hasn't been used by anyone but squatters and vagrants for years. It's isolated at the northern end of the Shambles. Easy to secure and unbearably hot. The perfect location for the Dagonist leaders to plot and scheme.
Move, mortal flea! You will see. Lord Dagon will devour you and your city.
Be silent. Your prince has no power here.
The Shambles. Not a place for a casual stroll. Let's go check out the old lighthouse. Choose a direction. East through Skane Row, through the Western Warrens, or directly north through the Central Plazas. The Vanquished consider the Central Plazas to be their territory. We need to be careful here.
very fine.
You seem to be
Don't assume.
Unfamiliar magic is like drinking strange wine. Eventually, there will be a price to pay.